All right, guys. I apologize, but I had a blackout that took everything offline for a couple of minutes. So that's what happened. And I can't do anything about, I can't stream if I have no power, and I can't stream if I have no internet service. So that's what happened. Just wanted to let everybody know. Nothing worse than having your momentum kind of destroyed, right? So let's give it a couple of seconds to let some people back into the stream, and then I'll do the thing. But yeah, I just sitting there chatting, and then the room went dark. Like, that would have been ugly, actually. Yeah, internet kill switch test. No, just North Florida vagaries of the power when there's any kind of weather. It just happens. That's where we are up here. So this is what it is. All right, so to finish off for the evening, and I'll probably retitle this stream because it's only going to be 15 or 18 minutes long or so. We'll talk about Brexit. So, yeah, we'll talk about Brexit. Let's do it. So, what do I think of the Boris Johnson deal? Well, on Fault Lines yesterday morning when I was on with Lee and Garland, and by the way, if you guys don't listen to or watch Lee and Garland on Sputnik Radio, you should, because they're fantastic. I said the most likely scenario here is that any deal that Boris Johnson puts together will be a slight variation on Theresa May's deal. It'll be better, and may even be better than anybody expects it to be, but it still won't be good, because at the end of the day, Boris Johnson is more worried about saving the Tory party and appearing to deliver Brexit while still serving the British deep state that he's a part of, than he is about actually delivering Brexit and doing right by the British people. He's really just Theresa May with bad hair. Is exactly the way I said it. So, and that's the scenario. Tomorrow, the vote's going to be very interesting as to whether or not this thing passes. Nobody wants to give Boris Johnson a win, but no one also wants a no-deal Brexit. And according to Nigel Farage, and I watched a half an hour thing with him on Brexbox earlier today, Nigel is as despondent as he has ever been during his 25 years he's devoted his life to Brexit, that this is as bad as it's ever been. Because when Juncker came out and said there will be no extension, that was his signal to all the Remainer MPs. It's either this deal or no deal. And that means he likes this deal well enough to have it pass Parliament. Now, at the same time, Nigel's probably overstating how bad the deal is. And now I'm going to give you the next part of this. There's still no guarantee that it's going to pass Parliament, but odds are it will. Now, here's the other side of it, which is the following. What Nigel has to continue to do is to really push the pawn on Boris, because Boris is now going to go for a general election and hope to win in a walk. Thing is, Nigel should, in every way, especially if Labour votes against this, or even if Labour scuttles this and then there's an extension or something else happens, Nigel will be fine. And here's the reason why. Even if they go for a second referendum where it's Boris's deal or Remain, and they go for Boris's deal, guess what? Brexit Party is still going to do very, very well. Well enough that if Boris wins re-election during the next general election, he'll do so in a government with Nigel Farage. At that point, Farage can hold, like the DUP has been trying to hold Johnson's feet to the fire. Farage could hold Johnson's feet to the fire on a free trade agreement that gives him the power to dictate terms back to the EU. That's what he has to do. Now, at this point, the way Nigel's spinning it, or the way he looks, he doesn't think that that's a very likely scenario. Now, I'm inclined to agree with him, because Nigel Farage has not been wrong about any twist and turn in the Brexit saga from the very beginning. He knows these people very well. He's been telling you the God's honest fucking truth at every twist and turn. There's no kabuki theater with this guy, as some people that I know fundamentally believe is the case. That's complete horseshit. Farage is the real deal, and I think in the same way that Gabbard is, in the same way, in some ways, I think even that Trump is still. So this is the most likely scenario. Brexit is effectively betrayed. This treaty is going to suck the life out of the United Kingdom for a few years. There's no real hope of it being investable because the EU is going to do everything imaginable to stop the UK from being a place of investable certainty. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the details are. We haven't actually seen most of the details yet, but a lot of them pretty much suck. Moreover, it will mean that the political fight over the next 5 years, while we go through a sovereign debt crisis because Europe is going to implode and Europe wants Britain as a tax cow to be able to suck hundreds of billions of dollars out of them in order to pay for the mess that they've created. That will inevitably prove Farage right. He will rise politically and will wind up being prime minister within 3 to 5 years, by 2020, by the next general election. Not the next general election, but the next scheduled election, 2022. That's what I think will ultimately happen. No, I don't think he can be. He would have to. But again, if they leave on this deal, they all go home. They're no longer MEPs, Doug Murray. So at that point, LG says some boomer I know. It is actually a boomer. At that point, in 3 or 4 years' time, 3 years' time or so, Farage will be saddled with this deal, this treaty, and the spoiled relationship with the EU, and the rest of it. And as PM, he will have, though, most likely, a Democratic mandate to challenge the treaty and seek ways to abrogate it. And the breakdown of the EU at that point may be so thorough that he'll be able to do so because things will be that chaotic. Europe is doomed to become a third world endeavor. Okay? The EU will ensure this. I heard a joke the other day. What did socialists use for candles? Light bulbs. That's what's coming for Europe. All right? There's 50 in the stream now. The other 170, they were, fair weathers. It is what it is. So, can I post the Discord link again? Yes, Joanne. Give me just a second. I'll pop open Discord and get it for you. Yeah, that's my Discord link. All right. Any thoughts about VIX? That the VIX has been completely and utterly emasculated and we don't have real volatility index? It's been that way for a long time. Moreover, though, a lot of what we're seeing as far as the VIX is concerned is a function of a stock market that's rising on safe haven fears. And we'll do another 5 or 10 minutes or so just to kind of remind everybody what my general investment thesis is going forward here. You got to understand that right now, you don't get the light bulb thing. They used to use light bulbs, and then in socialism is so good at destroying capital, Hypatia, that they're reduced to fucking candles. What did they wear on their feet before? What did they wear on their feet before sandals? Shoes. So my sum up on Brexit is that it's been betrayed. The most likely outcome tomorrow is that the deal will pass. It will be terrible for the UK. And the EU will have gotten 95% of what it wanted. So come on back in. It's only 8 minutes long. Watch it later. But to remind everybody what the general investment thesis is at this point in time is that we are in the mother of all safe haven trades. This is nothing I haven't written about publicly, so I'm not giving anything away for free for those of you who are thinking about joining the newsletter, which you honestly should. Right? Will the Queen consent? The Queen will consent to whatever the Parliament does. The Queen will absolutely consent. The Queen is happy to sign off on this Brexit deal. What do you think? Who do you think is behind a lot of this stuff? So understand that we're in the mother of all safe haven trades. As capital is absolutely scared about what to do. We're not in a phase of the return on your money. We're in the phase of the return of your money. Is Bitcoin a safe haven asset? Yes, but with the institutions having moved into it, they want to pay as cheap a price as possible, and we're going to see a lot of shenanigans in that market for for a while. So, like everything else, gold, Bitcoin, in a dollar liquidity crisis, which is what's been brewing for the last couple of months, and now we're fully in because the Fed's repo window, daily open market operations are hideously oversubscribed every day. In that scenario, along those lines, gold, Bitcoin, and everything else, they're going to be under pressure. Certainly, they're going to be under pressure in the short term now, with Brexit having been resolved satisfactorily to the bad guys who want the status quo maintained. Okay, so that's where I am right now. So I think gold and Bitcoin both are treading bare waters and signaling that we're going to get some kind of correction. Maybe not Bitcoin, but certainly gold. Bitcoin maybe already had enough of its correction, but gold is definitely feeling like it's going to be like it wants to collapse here. I don't mean collapse like down to $800 or anything. It was $100 from where it is right now, probably about $100. Joe Elf says France could end up leaving the EU before Britain does when the Fifth Republic falls in a few years. You're absolutely right. I mean, so things are so tense in France. Anything has happened. Anything can happen. I have a friend of mine who I game with every week who's French, and he's very French and speaks with a French accent. He's actually the guy who helped me get me to the urgent care center a couple weeks ago when I fell and I passed out, fell and hit my head and stitches and black eye and all that. And Camille and I went to dinner with him last night because we were in town. Sophie's school was having her Halloween party, so we dropped her off for a couple hours, went and had dinner with a friend of ours. As we were sitting chatting politics after we got an eating, and we were talking about French politics and this kid's he's a kid, he's just 30 or something like that. So as far as I'm concerned, he's a kid, and but very astute. On the left was my taste, but that's okay. He'll get over it. But I mean, for someone who's French, he's practically a fucking ultra right wing Nazi, and he's gay. It's even weirder. But he was saying some really, really fascinating things about what's happening with France, and just his observations about how terrible his the French governments have been for so long now that we're getting very close to that moment where I'd be surprised if there aren't guillotines returning. And I've been saying for a long time now that I'm long guillotines. And so the way Boris Johnson is effectively betraying Brexit for the Tory party, and the way the EU has acted in terms of staging a coup against Salvini and Italy and the rest of it, it's coming. The backlash is coming. It's coming hard, and they're not going to be able to stop it this time. What's happening in Catalonia right now, with the way the Spanish courts have tried to put down the Catalonian secession, I'm telling you, the more these people put their boot heel on the neck of the people, the more the people are going to overwhelm them. And it's going to get very ugly. And they think they're going to be able to do that here. People like Hillary and Soros and the rest of them, they all think they're going to be able to do that here. And it's easier to do in Europe because Europe is small. It is impossible to do here in the United States. And I fundamentally believe here in the U.S., That kind of tyrannical police state crap will never function here in the United States. Too many people will just, there's just too much land. It's just too big. So. Exactly, Andy Spicer. Exactly. All right, guys. Just wanted to pop back in, chat with everyone. What's going on? Yeah, finish up the stream. So that's where we are. Doesn't look good for Brexit, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. If something dramatic happens over the weekend, I may, pop in on Sunday or whatever. I don't have anything going on at all this weekend, so I may have some free time to pop in and do an impromptu stream. Probably no earlier than Sunday afternoon, though. I don't think I'll stream tomorrow. I think I'm going to take most of tomorrow off after finishing up this post I've got going for Putin. I've been working hard all week, and I've got other stuff I've got to get ready for coming into next week. So that being said, it's been the Gold Goats and Guns Hour. I hope you enjoyed it. And even though it's kind of split into two parts, go Tulsi Gabbard. It's a good thing what she's doing. And if you like what you heard tonight, give a like and subscribe down below. Please tweet the channel out. Please let everybody know what's going on. We're over 3,000 people officially now here on the channel. I'm approaching 4,000 people on Twitter. This is all organically grown. It's none of this. I don't pay for shit. I'm not popping, and I'm not like playing the Twitter game of trying to like pop into some influencer stream and say something witty and pick up 40,000 people. I'm not that guy. People who follow me because they know what they get, and they get the real dope, and that's where we are. And I'm not averse to having a bigger following, certainly, but I don't need a bunch of jackasses either. All right, you guys take care. You be well. Donate if you can, if you want to. That's always good. Feed my growing bass guitar habit and my growing board game collection habit. That's always fun. You can do so. All the links are down below. PayPal. Sign up on Patreon. Crypto. I take it all. I'm happy. All right, you guys take care. You be well. You be good. Talk soon. Keep your stick on the ice.